Dr. Robert Guilhem, a world-renowned geneticist, dedicated his life to unraveling the mysteries of the human genome. His groundbreaking research earned him accolades and recognition. He was a man of science, grounded in logic and empirical evidence. Dr. Guilhem believed in the power of observation, experimentation, and analysis. He was not a man easily swayed by sentiment or speculation. Dr. Guilhem's laboratory was his sanctuary, a place where he could delve into the intricate world of DNA and chromosomes. He spent countless hours studying genetic markers, mutations, and their implications for human health and disease. His work had the potential to revolutionize medicine and provide answers to some of humanity's most pressing medical challenges. Dr. Guilhem was particularly interested in the field of genetic fingerprinting. This cutting-edge technology allowed scientists to identify individuals based on their unique DNA profiles. It had significant implications for forensic science, paternity testing, and even historical research. Little did he know that this area of expertise would lead him down an unexpected path, a path that would challenge his beliefs and illuminate the truth. One evening, during a casual conversation with a colleague, Dr. Guilhem found himself drawn into a discussion about different cultural practices. His colleague, a devout Muslim, mentioned the Islamic practice of Iddah, a waiting period observed by women after divorce or the death of their spouse. Dr. Guilhem, with his scientific mind, was curious. He inquired about the rationale behind this practice, expecting a cultural or perhaps even a superstitious explanation. His colleague explained that the Iddah period, as outlined in the Quran, served a specific purpose to ensure the accurate determination of paternity in cases of pregnancy after the termination of a marriage. This piqued Dr. Guilhem's interest. The idea that an ancient religious text would address a matter seemingly related to modern genetics intrigued him. He was aware of the Quran's divine origins, but like many scientists, he tended to compartmentalize faith and science. He viewed them as separate domains, each with its own set of rules and principles. However, the concept of Iddah presented a curious intersection of these two worlds. His colleague went on to explain that the Quran, revealed over 1,400 years ago, stipulated specific waiting periods for women before they could remarry. These periods varied depending on factors such as the type of marriage termination and the woman's menstrual cycle. This information further fueled Dr. Guilhem's scientific curiosity. He began to wonder how many other ancient practices might have roots in scientific reasoning. Could it be that many traditions, often dismissed as mere cultural artifacts, had practical purposes grounded in empirical observation? Dr. Guilhem decided to delve deeper into the subject, seeking to understand the intersection of faith and science. He spent hours in the library, poring over texts and research papers, trying to piece together the puzzle. He even reached out to religious scholars and historians, hoping to gain a broader perspective. Through these conversations, he began to see the wisdom embedded in ancient practices. The more he learned, the more he realized that the boundaries between science and faith were not as rigid as he once thought. Dr. Guilhem's journey of discovery led him to present his findings at various conferences, sparking discussions among his peers. His work was met with both curiosity and admiration, as it bridged the gap between two seemingly disparate worlds. In the end, Dr. Guilhem's casual encounter and the intriguing question it sparked opened up a new realm of understanding, one where science and faith could coexist and enrich each other. Dr. Guilhem, with his extensive background in genetic fingerprinting and molecular biology, couldn't help but see a fascinating connection between the Iddah periods prescribed in Islamic law and the biological process of DNA clearance in the human body. He knew that during intercourse, male DNA in the form of sperm is deposited into the female reproductive tract. This DNA doesn't just disappear immediately, it can linger for a significant period. This lingering DNA can persist for a certain period, potentially leading to complications in determining paternity if a woman were to conceive again soon after a previous relationship. The presence of multiple male DNA sequences could confuse paternity tests, making it difficult to ascertain the biological father of the child. The more he thought about it, the more it seemed that the Iddah periods, as described in the Quran, aligned remarkably well with the scientific understanding of DNA clearance. It was as if these ancient guidelines were designed with a deep understanding of modern genetic science. The waiting periods, ranging from 3 months to a year, provided a sufficient time frame for the complete elimination of any foreign DNA from a woman's system. This period ensured that any residual male DNA from a previous partner would be cleared, thereby preventing any confusion regarding paternity. This ensured that if she were to become pregnant after this period, the paternity of the child could be established with certainty. The Iddah period thus served a dual purpose. It respected the emotional and psychological needs of the woman while also addressing the biological realities of DNA clearance. Intrigued by this potential intersection of science and religion, Dr. Guilhem decided to delve deeper into the matter. He was determined to explore whether there was more to this correlation than mere coincidence. He consulted a wide range of medical textbooks, scientific journals, and research papers on DNA persistence and clearance rates. He wanted to gather as much information as possible to understand the nuances of this biological process. He was astounded by what he found. The scientific data he uncovered seemed to align perfectly with the Quranic guidelines on Iddah, suggesting a profound wisdom in these ancient prescriptions. The scientific data seemed to corroborate the Quranic guidelines on Iddah. It was as if the ancient texts had an inherent understanding of the complexities of human biology, long before modern science could explain them. For example, he learned that sperm cells can survive in the female reproductive tract for up to 5 days. This survival period is crucial for understanding the potential for fertilization and the subsequent need for DNA clearance. This aligned with the minimum 3-month waiting period prescribed in the Quran, as it accounted for the possibility of a delayed ovulation cycle. The 3-month period provided a buffer to ensure that any potential fertilization and subsequent DNA clearance could occur without confusion. Furthermore, studies on DNA persistence in the cervix and uterus showed that while traces of male DNA could be detected for several weeks, complete clearance typically occurred within a few months. This scientific evidence provided a compelling explanation for the Quranic guidelines, reinforcing the idea that these ancient prescriptions were grounded in a deep understanding of human biology. As Dr. Guilhem immersed himself in this research, he stumbled upon a personal revelation that shook him to his core. His work, which had always been a professional pursuit, suddenly intersected with his personal life in a way he had never anticipated. A long-held family secret, one that had haunted his family for generations, suddenly made sense in light of his newfound understanding of Iddah. This ancient practice, which he had studied from a purely academic perspective, now held the key to unraveling a mystery that had cast a shadow over his family for decades. Dr. Guilhem's great-grandmother, a woman of strong character and resilience, had been widowed at a young age. Her life, marked by hardship and perseverance, was a testament to the strength of the human spirit. She had a young son to care for, and life in those days was incredibly challenging for a single mother. The societal pressures and economic hardships were immense, yet she managed to navigate them with grace and determination. A few months after her husband's passing, she found herself courted by a respectable gentleman who offered her companionship and support. This man, understanding her plight, extended a hand of friendship that soon blossomed into something more. They were married shortly after, and a few months later she discovered she was pregnant. This joyous news, however, was soon overshadowed by doubt and suspicion. This news sent shockwaves through both families. The timing of the pregnancy raised questions and eyebrows, leading to a storm of controversy. Accusations were flung, doubts were sown, and the family was torn apart by suspicion and mistrust. The whispers and gossip created an environment of hostility and division. The child, a boy, grew up bearing the weight of this uncertainty over his paternity. The stigma attached to his birth followed him like a shadow, affecting his relationships and self-esteem. He was treated differently, often ostracized, and the shadow of doubt followed him throughout his life. The pain of being an outcast left deep emotional scars. However, when Dr. Guilhem calculated the timeline of his great-grandmother's second marriage and the birth of her son, he realized that she had observed a waiting period that exceeded the minimum Iddah period prescribed in Islam. This revelation was both shocking and enlightening. This meant that his great-grandfather, the deceased husband, could not have been the biological father of the child. The scientific and religious timelines aligned perfectly, dispelling any doubts about the child's legitimacy. The timeline clearly indicated that the child was conceived and born well after the Iddah period, confirming the legitimacy of his lineage. This newfound clarity brought a sense of peace and closure to a long-standing family issue. This realization was a bombshell for Dr. Guilhem. It not only changed his understanding of his family's history, but also highlighted the importance of scientific principles in clarifying and resolving personal and societal issues. It meant that his family had unjustly ostracized and mistreated a child based on unfounded suspicions. The regret and sorrow for the past actions were palpable as the truth finally came to light. It also made him question how many other families might have endured similar pain and suffering due to a lack of understanding of this simple scientific principle embedded within a religious practice. The intersection of science and faith, he realized, had the power to heal and bring about profound change. Dr. Guilhem's journey was a testament to the transformative power of knowledge. By bridging the gap between science and tradition, he not only resolved a personal family mystery, but also paved the way for greater understanding and compassion within his community. In the end, the story of Dr. Guilhem and his great-grandmother serves as a powerful reminder that the pursuit of knowledge can lead to healing and reconciliation, proving that when
Robert Guilhem, a renowned embryologist, embarked on a remarkable journey. His quest was not just a professional endeavor, but a deeply personal mission to understand the very essence of life. He sought to unravel the complexities of human development, delving into the mysteries that have puzzled humanity for centuries. His work was driven by an insatiable curiosity and a profound respect for the intricacies of biology. Guilhem's pursuit of knowledge led him down a path of discovery, where each finding opened new doors and posed new questions. His dedication to his research was unwavering, and his passion was evident in every experiment he conducted. This path would ultimately bridge the realms of science and faith, two fields often seen as opposing forces. Guilhem believed that true understanding required a synthesis of both perspectives. His story serves as a testament to the potential harmony between these seemingly disparate domains. Through dialogue and collaboration, he demonstrated that science and religion could coexist and enrich one another. Guilhem's research focused on the intricate processes governing the formation of human life. He meticulously documented each stage, from the earliest cell divisions to the complex structures that form a human being. He meticulously studied the stages of embryonic development, marveling at the elegance and precision of nature's design. Each discovery was a testament to the incredible complexity and beauty of life. As he delved deeper into his work, Guilhem began to notice intriguing parallels. These connections were not just scientific, but also philosophical, prompting him to explore the deeper meanings behind his findings. These parallels were between his scientific findings and the teachings of the Quran. He found that the sacred texts often mirrored the scientific truths he uncovered, leading him to a profound realization about the unity of knowledge. Guilhem's journey was not just about scientific discovery, but also about bridging gaps and fostering understanding. His work continues to inspire, reminding us that the quest for knowledge is a journey that transcends boundaries and unites us all. Guilhem's laboratory became a space of profound contemplation. He spent countless hours peering through the lens of his microscope. His trained eye observed the intricate dance of cells as they differentiated and coalesced. Each observation brought him closer to understanding the miracle of life. With every breakthrough, Guilhem felt a sense of awe. He meticulously documented his findings, publishing his research in prestigious scientific journals. His work garnered recognition from his peers. Yet, it was the convergence of his scientific discoveries with his personal faith that truly ignited Guilhem's imagination. He realized that his scientific explorations were leading him on an unexpected spiritual journey. The Quran, the Holy Book of Islam, contains verses that describe the stages of human development. These verses, written over 1,400 years ago, provide a detailed account of the process, from conception to birth, in a manner that resonates with modern scientific understanding. Guilhem, raised in a secular household, had never given these verses much thought. His upbringing was rooted in scientific inquiry and empirical evidence, leaving little room for religious texts. However, as he compared his scientific observations with the Quranic descriptions, he was astounded by the level of congruence. The parallels were too striking to ignore, prompting him to delve deeper into both the scientific and religious texts. The Quran spoke of the embryo developing in stages, hidden within 3 veils of darkness. This description matched the scientific understanding of the embryo's development within the layers of the mother's womb. This resonated profoundly with Guilhem's understanding of the womb's protective environment. The 3 veils of darkness mentioned in the Quran could be interpreted as the abdominal wall, the uterine wall, and the amniotic sac. Guilhem's scientific training had instilled in him a deep respect for empirical evidence. He was meticulous in his research, always seeking proof and validation through experiments and observations. He was not inclined to accept things on faith alone. Skepticism was a part of his nature, a trait that had served him well in his scientific endeavors. The more he delved into the Quran's verses on embryology, the more he felt a sense of wonder and intrigue. The ancient texts seemed to hold knowledge that aligned with modern scientific discoveries, challenging his previous assumptions. Could it be that the scientific truths he was uncovering in the laboratory were also reflected in the ancient scriptures of Islam? This question lingered in his mind, bridging the gap between his scientific world and the spiritual insights of the Quran. The journey of exploration had just begun, and Guilhem was eager to see where it would lead him. Guilhem was particularly struck by the Quran's description of the embryo developing from a clinging clot to a chewed-like substance. These descriptions, once considered metaphorical, now held new meaning for Guilhem. He recognized the striking resemblance between these descriptions and the actual appearance of the embryo at different stages of development. The Quran also highlighted the formation of the hearing, sight, and heart. It emphasized these developments occurring in a specific sequence. Guilhem's research confirmed this sequence, further deepening his sense of awe at the Quran's insights. It seemed that the Quran possessed knowledge about human development that was centuries ahead of its time. Section 5. Elevating the status of women. Guilhem's research also shed light on the role of women in Islam. The Quran acknowledges the mother's significant contribution to the child's development. This recognition stood in stark contrast to the prevailing views of the time. During that era, women were often relegated to the sidelines of intellectual and scientific pursuits. Guilhem's findings provided scientific validation for the Quran's teachings on the importance of mothers. His research underscored the profound biological and emotional connection between a mother and her child. This connection was not merely a social construct, but a fundamental aspect of human development. Section 6. Confronting skepticism. Guilhem's work, while groundbreaking, was not without its critics. His theories, which sought to bridge the gap between science and religion, sparked intense debate within the scientific community. Some scientists dismissed his findings as mere coincidence, arguing that his data lacked the rigorous evidence required to support such extraordinary claims. They argued that religious texts should not be interpreted literally, and that Guilhem's attempts to find scientific validation for spiritual beliefs were misguided. Others accused him of allowing his personal beliefs to cloud his scientific judgment, suggesting that his work was more about faith than fact. Guilhem, however, remained steadfast in his conviction that his research pointed to a deeper truth. He believed that the universe held mysteries that could be explored through both scientific inquiry and spiritual reflection. He understood that his work challenged the prevailing scientific paradigm, which often maintained a strict separation between science and religion. This separation, he felt, limited the scope of human understanding. Guilhem, however, saw no inherent conflict between the two. He argued that science and religion could complement each other, each offering unique insights into the nature of existence. He believed that science and religion could coexist, each offering a different lens through which to view the universe and humanity's place within it. By integrating these perspectives, Guilhem hoped to foster a more holistic understanding of the cosmos, one that embraced both empirical evidence and spiritual wisdom. His vision was one of unity, where diverse viewpoints could come together to enrich the collective knowledge of humanity. Despite the skepticism, Guilhem continued his work, driven by a passion to uncover the deeper truths that lie at the intersection of science and spirituality. Section 7. The Power of Open-Minded Inquiry. Guilhem's story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of open-minded inquiry. It encourages us to approach both science and religion with a sense of curiosity and wonder. By embracing the unknown and challenging our preconceived notions, we open ourselves up to the possibility of discovering profound truths. Guilhem's journey reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge should not be confined by rigid boundaries or ideological constraints. Instead, it should be a journey of exploration and discovery, guided by a thirst for understanding and a willingness to embrace new perspectives. Section 8. Reconciling Faith and Reason. In an age often characterized by polarization and division, Guilhem's story offers a message of hope and reconciliation. It demonstrates that science and religion are not mutually exclusive, but can complement and enrich one another. When approached with humility and respect, science and religion can help us to appreciate the beauty and complexity of the universe and to find meaning and purpose in our lives. Section 9. A Legacy of Harmony. Robert Guilhem's legacy extends far beyond his scientific contributions. He left behind a legacy of bridging divides and fostering dialogue. His story continues to inspire people from all walks of life to explore the intersection of science and faith. Guilhem's journey reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge is a collective human endeavor. It is one that requires us to embrace our shared humanity and